You know that feeling? When you're just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Your mind feels like it's caught between, I don't know, yesterday's mistakes
Mhm.
and all the worries about tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a common human thing, isn't it? We get so easily tangled up in the past and the future.
Right. And the present moment, the only place we actually live, it just sort of slips away. It can feel paralyzing or just, well, heavy.
Yeah, burden.
Exactly.
Huh.
So today we're doing a deep dive into a classic book that offers kind of a powerful antidote to that exact feeling. It's 24 Hours a Day by Richard Walker. Came out way back in 1954.
A real cornerstone text.
Totally. Now, you might know it as a meditation classic, really foundational for people in recovery from addiction for, well, generations.
It absolutely is. But the wisdom in it, it goes so much further.
That's the vital insight, isn't it? It's not just for recovery. It's this calming, reflective tool that's helped millions stay grounded, find some clarity, just navigate the complexities of life, whatever their situation.
Its relevance hasn't faded at all.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to crack open just a single day's entry from this book. Explore that core message. Live in the present moment, simply just for today.
Such a simple phrase, but so profound.
Right. And for you listening, this deep dive, it's kind of a shortcut. A way to understand this fundamental shift in perspective that can bring peace, focus, real effectiveness to anyone's life.
It's about finding that anchor in the now.
And understanding why it's sometimes so hard to hold on to, and maybe finding ways to grasp it, even just for this moment.
It's fascinating, really. Decades later, Walker's message still cuts through, especially in our, hyper-connected, often anxious world.
Yeah.
These insights aren't just about managing addiction. They're about managing the human condition, taking this huge, overwhelming feeling, the weight of just existing, and boiling it down to daily, actionable principles.
It's timeless stuff. Okay, so let's dive right into the heart of it. Walker starts with this incredibly striking image. He says, "You are so made that you can only carry the weight of 24 hours, no more." That just hits you, doesn't it?
It really does. It's like our minds, our shoulders, are engineered for a specific load, and we constantly try to pile on more. And what's so profound there is how it immediately speaks to that universal burden we mentioned. Think about it often. We're not actually overwhelmed by today's immediate tasks, the email we need to send right now.
Like the backlog.
Exactly. It's the weight of yesterday's regrets, all those should haves, could haves, and then piled on top of that, tomorrow's anxieties, the endless what ifs.
Yeah, the spiraling thoughts.
The book basically says that's an unsustainable load, physically, mentally. And it drives it home with that warning. If you weigh yourself down with the years behind and the days ahead, your back breaks.
Wow, that's a powerful metaphor for burnout.
Yeah.
Just trying to process a whole lifetime in one go.
It is. It makes the futility of it so clear.
It really does. It's like trying to lift a mountain range when you just need to pick up one pebble for today. Why even try to carry that crushing weight? It really sets the stage for understanding the freedom and just focusing on now.
And then Walker introduces this crucial element, almost a counterpoint. God has promised to help with the burdens of this day only.
Okay.
Now, obviously, that resonates spiritually for many, but beyond that, it's a really sharp psychological insight, I think, regardless of your specific beliefs.
How so?
Well, psychologically, it's like it offers a cognitive framework to fight that overwhelming anxiety. Our brains just aren't built to process and solve everything, past, present, future, all at once.
Right. Too much input.
Yeah, so by consciously limiting your focus just to today, you reduce that cognitive load. You stop the catastrophic thinking spirals. You basically chunk this impossibly huge problem life into manageable bits.
Chunking it down. That makes sense. It's a mental discipline.
It is. Whether you call the support divine or just, the mind's resilience when it's focused properly.
But that reframing.
Yeah.
Breaking the overwhelming into the digestible. How does someone really internalize that? Especially if they're stuck in chronic anxiety, going from knowing it intellectually to really feeling it.
Right. That's the practice, isn't it? It underscores that it's not about solving life all at once. It's about managing it moment by moment, making the huge task feel approachable, bit by bit, building trust.
Trust in the process, maybe, or in yourself when you narrow the scope.
Both, I think. And that leads right into the book's call to action. So forget that which lies behind you and breathe in the blessing of each new day.
A daily reset.
Exactly, a conscious letting go. Stephanie Covington, in her book, A Woman's Way Through the 12 Steps, she reinforces this beautifully, calls it a moment-by-moment process. a time-limited surrender.
Time-limited surrender. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And she breaks it down even further, really practically. Like, just for today, for this hour, or for this minute, we choose not to drink, binge, or otherwise behave compulsively. Or, similarly, we can stop struggling with control just for today.
So it's about micro-commitments, tiny choices.
Precisely. It's not this huge, lifelong, overwhelming thing. It's acknowledging what is right now and responding to that.
That feels like a total game changer. Because it takes these enormous goals, like getting sober, managing anxiety, to tackling a huge project, and turns them into small, achievable steps.
Right. You don't have to quit forever. You just have to choose for this minute.
It shifts the focus. Less burden, more manageable choices. It gives you agency right away.
Reduces the emotional stakes, offers a real path forward, one micro choice at a time. You're building this chain of successful just for today moments.
Okay, so if this just for today idea is so logical, so freeing, so practical, why is it so hard? Why aren't we all just doing it? The book, and a lot of recovery writing, points to one massive obstacle: fear.
Yeah, deep-seated fear, Stephanie Covington puts it bluntly. Fear is often the obstacle to our letting go, and it's not always, an obvious, loud fear.
Right, it can be sneaky.
Exactly. Sometimes it's this underlying fear of life itself. There's this powerful share in Drinking a Love Story where someone talks about hiding oceans of fear, whole rivers of self-doubt behind this, witty exterior. And this fear wasn't just social stuff. It was secret terror of the most basic aspects of the job, like picking up the phone to call strangers, feeling hypersensitive, inferior, like a fraud.
That feeling of fraudulence
Yeah.
that resonates with so many people, I think, not just in the context of addiction.
It really does. It's that constant low hum of unease that makes just being present feel incredibly risky, like letting your guard down.
That personal story really shows how deep it goes, affecting work, daily life, self-worth, not just the obvious struggles. It makes letting go sound terrifying, not liberating.
Like you're giving up your only defense, maybe, however flawed that defense is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where the pull of addictive behaviors comes in, alcohol or whatever the compulsion is. It seems to offer this quick protection from that fear.
A buffer.
Right. Another quote from Drinking a Love Story calls it a much more effective liquid kind of protection, a way to lighten things, dilute some of the distance and confusion, makes life feel easier to face, as Daily Reflections puts it.
So it seems like a solution. Accessible, works fast, numbs the fear.
A false friend, definitely,
Yeah.
but very convincing when you're in that fearful state.
So in a really twisted way, the addiction isn't just the problem. It's perceived, at least initially, as this temporary fix for that deeper fear.
Yeah, it gives this illusion of control, maybe, a softening of the edges, a brief escape, even though it's totally unsustainable.
Short-term gain, long-term pain. Classic.
But the illusion part is key, and it's so deceptive. This Naked Mind has this really stark example. Cocaine addicts smoking not even for the high anymore, but literally just to relieve the withdrawal the previous dose created.
Wow. The drug creates the problem it pretends to solve.
Exactly. It's this vicious self-feeding cycle. Immunity grows, you're unhappy even when using, it destroys you mentally, physically, health fails, nerves fray, dependence gets worse, you take more. It's a trap.
And that leads to this awful cycle. Willpower runs out and you drink. This drink provides illusory relief.
Right. And the more dependent you are, the more you convince yourself you need it to cope, to enjoy anything, to handle stress, and the faster it eats away at you.
It builds this whole internal narrative of needing it, which makes letting go even harder, even scarier.
And part of that fear, part of keeping the cycle going, is tied into this really ingrained belief that we should be in control, that we can just willpower our way through anything.
The pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality.
Pretty much. There are so many stories like in Experience, Strength, and Hope of people trying desperately to change everything around them.
Like what?
Oh, trying to control the time, the place, the amount of drinking, changing their environment, moving house, even thinking about changing partners.
Trying everything external.
Everything and everybody except themselves. And eventually, after hitting wall after wall, they realized that was the only thing they actually could change.
That misdirection of effort.
Uh-huh.
Focusing outward when the issue is inward. That's so common, isn't it? Blaming circumstances before looking at ourselves.
Absolutely. It's a very human tendency.
So, it points to this critical moment, realizing the limits of our own control. That we might be fighting the wrong battle with the wrong weapons. Like sheer willpower isn't enough here.
And that realization, hitting that wall, That's not the end. It's actually the gateway to where the real shift can begin, which brings us to embracing powerlessness.
Okay, so that moment, realizing your own efforts just aren't enough. Your willpower is shot, your external fix has failed. It feels like defeat, maybe, but you're saying it's not.
Not at all. It's actually the essential starting point for something new, something that works. Alcoholics Anonymous, the big book, calls it the jumping off place. It's recognizing your own powerlessness.
Not as weakness, though.
No, as the first necessary step towards freedom, Stephanie Covington nails it. At this point, I recognized my powerlessness. I saw how little control I had over alcohol and how it ruled my life.
So it's seeing clearly.
Yes. And that feeling, that deflation at depth, as another book, Not God, puts it, that's the first step toward recovery. Accepting you can't do it alone. That you need help from others, and crucially, from a power beyond yourself.
Humbling, definitely. Probably scary at first.
Oh, for sure. But it becomes the bedrock for real change. Letting go of that illusion of control actually gives you true agency.
It sounds so counterintuitive, though, embracing powerlessness. For many, that probably sounds like giving up, like despair. How is this different from just resigning yourself to failure?
That's a really important distinction. It's not giving up on life or change. It's giving up on your ego's demand that you have to control everything.
Okay.
It's not passive resignation. It's an active surrender of the struggle over things you genuinely cannot control, like deciding to stop banging your head against a brick wall.
That makes sense. It's an intelligent choice, then.
Right. And that surrender, that humility, opens the door to seeking support, which is an active choice. And once that door opens, the path to connecting with a higher power appears.
Which is central to 24 hours a day.
Absolutely. The meditations constantly invoke it. Things like, I believe there must be a higher power which helps me. I think of that power as the grace of God. And I pray to God every morning for the strength to stay sober today.
It's a daily conscious act.
Exactly. Deliberately seeking guidance and strength from something beyond your limited self. Acknowledging you might be powerless over some things, but you're not powerless to ask for help.
And crucially, as Recovery Freedom from Our Addictions points out, this higher power is of your understanding.
That feels vital.
It's absolutely critical. It removes the dogma barrier. It's not about specific religious rules. It's about a personal connection.
To something bigger than you.
Bigger than your ego, yeah. And something benevolent, not malevolent. It could be the universe, nature, the collective wisdom of a group. Whatever resonates as a force for good beyond your own isolated will.
Finding meaning and strength outside yourself. And this connection is foundational. Daily reflection says submission to God was the first step to my recovery. But again, this submission isn't weakness.
That leads to freedom.
Paradoxically, yes. It fosters a freedom that gives me the ability to think for myself, builds emotional stability based on something bigger, like perfect justice, forgiveness, and love. Surrendering empowers you.
William James, the psychologist, talked about this too, right?
He did beautifully in The Varieties of Religious Experience. He described how the will to assert ourselves has been displaced by a willingness to close our mouths and be as nothing in the floods and waterspouts of God.
Wow.
And he says, what we once dreaded has become the habitation of our safety, and the hour of our moral death has turned into our spiritual birthday. Shutting the old, struggling self for a new way of living.
A spiritual birthday, that's powerful. And James also talks about finding this eternal present with no discordant future to be anxious about.
Yeah. Yes. That's the incredible outcome. It's not just freedom from addiction or fear. It's freedom for a new way of experiencing life. Fully present, vibrant, unburdened.
A total reorientation.
Yeah.
Moving from being trapped to being expansive.
It is a profound liberation. And Gabor Mate, in The Realm of Hungry Ghosts, he connects this spiritual awakening directly to a human being claiming his or her own full humanity.
Reclaiming humanity. How does he explain that?
He suggests addiction was often just the best answer we could find at one time to the problem of isolation from our true selves and from the rest of creation.
So the way forward isn't just stopping the behavior.
No, it's about taking responsibility for the mind we use to create our world.
Yeah.
Choosing connection and authenticity over grasping and alienation, rebuilding those lost connections to self, to others.
So pulling it all together
Yeah.
is a spiritual shift. It's not just about traditional faith.
Yeah.
It's about reconnecting to our authentic selves, our full humanity, finding meaning that goes beyond the cycle of self-defeat.
Exactly. Building an inner world that's resilient, rich, interconnected, finding internal sovereignty maybe, instead of constantly chasing external fixes.
Okay, so we've got the principle just for today. We see the obstacles, fear, illusion of control. We understand this shift, embracing powerlessness, connecting to a guiding power. Now, the rubber meets the road. How do we actually do this? Day to day.
Right. How do we put this profound philosophy into actual practice? And the answer, consistently across these texts, lies in daily disciplines. Simple, repeatable actions starting right when you wake up.
Consciously starting fresh each day.
Exactly. 24 hours a day gives a very direct guide. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking.
Setting the intention.
Precisely. Our thought lives will be placed on a much higher plane when we start the day with prayer and meditation. It's a conscious act, setting the stage, inviting guidance, stepping out of old patterns before the day hits you.
Proactively shaping your internal state.
Yes, and daily reflections echoes this daily prayer and meditation, plus living the steps brings inner peace and feeling of belonging.
And prayer and meditation here. They're presented as practical tools, right? Not just abstract ideas for managing our inner world, getting grounded.
Very practical. It's not just hoping for a good day, it's actively participating and setting yourself up for one.
So for someone new to this, what does that practice actually look like?
Meditation can sound intimidating.
That's a great point. Russell Brand in Recovery actually describes his practice very relatably. He talks about just observing the crackling grid of fast thought, relaxing the body, focusing gently on the breath, maybe using a mantra.
Okay, so not aiming for a totally blank mind.
Not at all. He really emphasizes self-compassion. Accepting the mind wanders. That's what minds do. Don't get annoyed by it. Give up expectations of what meditation should be, and just allow it to be what it is.
Just noticing and gently bringing it back, without judgment.
Exactly. It's the consistent, gentle effort that builds the muscle of presence and resilience over time. That makes it sound much more achievable. Not about perfection, just practice.
And it's an old practice. William James, back in Varieties of Religious Experience, talked about entering the silence, drawing the curtains of privacy so completely about him, as though he were alone in some primeval wood, seeking answers from within.
Creating that inner space.
Yes. A sanctuary to listen to yourself.
Yeah.
Connect to that guiding power, whatever it is for you.
So beyond the quiet reflection, there's also this active component, often mentioned, the daily inventory, checking in with yourself.
Right. Step 10 in the 12 steps. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. It's about ongoing self-awareness, rigorous honesty.
What does that look like day to day?
Courage to change puts it well. When I keep track of my inventory on a daily basis, I no longer have to fear that I will fall into that vague, hazy state in which denial so easily takes root. So it's basically an honest review of your day.
Your actions, thoughts, motives.
Where were you aligned with your values? Where did you fall short? And crucially, when you were wrong, did you acknowledge it? To yourself, maybe to others if needed. It's self-correction.
This helps move from just being dry to being truly sober, right? Can you unpack that distinction?
Yeah, the Little Red Book study guide makes this vital point. Being dry is just stopping the substance or behavior. Like, you stop drinking, but the underlying thinking, the feeling hasn't changed.
The engine's still broken.
Exactly. Sober, on the other hand, implies that deeper internal transformation. Actively addressing the physical craving, the mental obsession, and that spiritual malady, the disconnection, the emptiness.
So sobriety is active growth.
In all areas. It's not just stopping, it's transforming.
Yeah.
And the daily inventory is key to making sure we're actually learning, growing, becoming, as Pope said, wiser today than we were yesterday. It's dynamic.
That's a much richer goal than just abstinence. Now, speaking of internal states, a big fear people have about sobriety or mindfulness is, well, boredom.
Ah, yes. The fear of a boring life.
Right. They associate excitement with old patterns or constant stimulation. But the Little Red Book study guide has this really challenging take on boredom.
It's quite provocative, isn't it? It says, boredom is a form of conceit. When we are bored, we are saying, okay, life, you are not doing your job of keeping me entertained.
Wow. That flips it right back on us.
Completely. It points out how we externalize responsibility for our inner state. And that kind of thinking, the book warns, can poison our attitude and lead right back to the addiction seeming like the only escape.
From the boredom we created by demanding entertainment.
Pretty much. So instead, Courage to Change offers that counterintuitive wisdom. Don't just do something, sit there.
The value of non-action, patience.
Exactly. Allowing life to unfold instead of demanding constant stimulation. Learning to find richness and peace within, not just seeking it outside. Cultivating an inner world that can sustain itself.
So as we practice this, the daily disciplines, the honesty, reframing boredom, a really profound shift happens.
Yeah.
We get the chance to repair past harms, not just saying sorry, but making living amends.
Yes, repairing through a changed way of living. It's about genuine transformation. Stephanie Covington says, our recovery is the living amends we make to ourselves.
To ourselves first. Interesting.
Well, becoming sober, working the steps, living differently, that starts healing the damage to our self-esteem, our bodies, our relationships. And Russell Brand points out that amend literally means to change or improve.
So the change is the key.
That's the core of it. Living differently, responsibly, with integrity that becomes the most powerful, lasting apology and repair. To ourselves and others, you're demonstrating a new way of being.
The transformation is the amend. It's observable. It shows you wouldn't repeat the harm. That feels powerful.
And the process itself, making amends to others, steps 8 and 9, it needs care. As Russell Brand highlights, guidance from a mentor is crucial.
Why is that?
To make sure you don't cause more harm in the process. Or let your own, crazy old brain, as he calls it, take over and mess things up. It's about conscious, thoughtful action, making things genuinely right, not just easing your own guilt. Sometimes the best amend is not making one that would hurt someone further.
That requires real discernment.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides repair, another huge theme that emerges is breaking free from isolation, connecting with others.
Absolutely foundational for recovery and just for a fulfilling life. When you're not hiding or consumed by internal chaos, you can connect authentically.
Makes sense.
Stephanie Covington says, the more things we do and the more people we include in our lives, the more our world and our experience of self can expand. 24 Hours a Day has that quote about real friends versus drinking companions.
Right, how the idea of friendship itself changes.
Exactly. Moving from those superficial, maybe substance-fueled connections to genuine, supportive ones built on vulnerability and respect.
Community becomes key.
Crucial. The 12 and 12 emphasizes that most people can't recover alone. Fellowship provides that mutual sharing, concern, caring. Daily Reflection says attraction is the main force in these fellowships.
People are drawn to that shared humanity, that sense of belonging.
I think so. It heals the isolation that fuels so much suffering. Genuine community is an antidote to loneliness for anyone.
It really does sound like a beautiful cycle. You get help, you heal, you help others, which reinforces your own healing. Shared strength.
It builds resilience through connection. And beyond those external connections, this journey inward, living just for today, it also fosters a much deeper, kinder relationship with ourselves.
Moving past self-loathing.
Yes. Courage to Change has this profound thought. I spend more time with myself than with anyone else. Wouldn't it make sense to put some energy into making that relationship as fulfilling as possible? I can come to value my own company. I am a worthwhile companion.
Wow. To see yourself as a worthwhile companion, that's a radical act of self-love, especially if you spent years trying to escape yourself.
It really is. Addiction or deep anxiety often shrinks our sense of self, right? Defines us by the struggle.
Yeah.
So recovery, this present moment living, it's described as a process of becoming whole, asking questions and learning about and naming the self in new and different ways, getting to know who you are apart from the addiction or the roles you played.
Discovering your authentic self underneath all the layers.
That journey of self-discovery, reclaiming your inherent worth, is vital for true peace.
And then the culmination of all this, the practice, honesty, connection, self-love, seems to lead naturally outward again, towards service.
It's a natural evolution, a sign of real healing, moving from being self-absorbed in problems to selfless action. Russell Brand just says, I must make myself of use to others.
Simple but powerful.
And it echoes that core recovery idea. I can't keep it unless I give it away. The paradox of service giving we receive, helping others we strengthen ourselves.
The 12th step carrying the message.
Exactly. Daily Reflections calls it the basic service, the principal aim, the main reason for existence of the fellowship. It shifts you from self-centeredness, which the Little Red Book calls the serious problem, to a purpose-driven life.
Seeing yourself as part of something bigger.
Like being an instrument, maybe, as one person put it. God's way of expressing himself through me and seeing others grow. It's a powerful reminder of how far you've come and the limitless possibilities ahead. It's reclosing your humanity and contributing back. #tag outro.
So wrapping up this deep dive into 24 hours a day, What really stands out is this simple, profound truth. The heaviest burdens we carry, often they're the ones we put on ourselves. Dwelling on the past we can't change. Stressing about a future we can't control.
Yeah, we're just built for today. That's our capacity.
And the message, connecting all these threads, seems clear. Real freedom, real serenity, it doesn't come from mastering the world outside. It comes from consistently choosing to live and act right now, in this present moment.
Which involves, inviting guidance, being willing to be vulnerable, admitting we don't have all the answers or all the power, and connecting to something larger than just ourselves.
And that transforms this huge, impossible-seeming task, living fully, free from compulsion or anxiety, into something manageable.
A series of achievable, meaningful, just-for-today choices. It's a path to inner strength and peace that's really accessible to anyone, I think.
It offers a way to move from that feeling of life being empty and devoid of meaning, as Daily Reflections put it, to one that's joyous and full.
All through those simple, consistent daily practices. Intention, reflection, connection. It's a gradual unfolding, one day, one moment at a time.
So to leave you, our listener, with something to think about, maybe carry into your day. Here's a thought from Courage to Change. This day is all I have to work with. The past is over, and tomorrow is out of my reach. I will try to remember what a great gift this day can be and make full use of it.
So the question for you is, what might you choose to fully embrace just for today, knowing it's the only thing you truly possess?